Oh, Facebook, I'm putting on right now.
Working it. Am I live? Am I live?
You are live.
Hello, folks. This is Trooper Joe, and I'm live here at Archangel of Return to Chivalry. So it must be Wednesday. It must be 3, and we're going to 4, and we might even go a little bit more. I'm not sure, but we're here, and we're ready. I'm accompanied today by William. He's the son of William. That's William's son. If he was from Ireland, no, what is that place? Iceland. He'd be William's son. But he's not, so we'll just call him William. Or whatever he wants to be called. He's here making sure all this technology that I have no idea what it's all about is going to work. Well, anyway, I hope everybody had a great week. I had a great week. Yeah, I had a lot of things to think about. And it was a lot of fun. I had a good show yesterday on Voice of the Voiceless. And today I'm planning on having a just as good of a show as Voice of the Voiceless. I'm going to talk today to you about who am I. Now, you got to understand, I'm just talking about it. I don't have any idea about any of the philosophies about who am I. I'm not going deep into anybody's kind of utilitarian or any kind of Cantonine or any of those kind of philosophies or any of those people that talk about that. So I'm not going into that. I'm just talking about who am I. I'm going to make references to myself and other people like that, because that's a hard question to answer. It's like, who am I? You know, it's like, what am I? Who am I? Well, okay, I said I wasn't going to do it, but here I go. On the Notes of the Underground, where my man starts out, I'm a sick man, I'm a evil man, I'm a wicked man, I'm a bad man. You know, he just describes himself as, I'm sorry, as being somebody like that. You know, sick, you know, my liver hurts and stuff like that. This I think is the correct way if you're really looking to find out who you are, is to describe yourself as the way you see yourself. You know, in relation to the way society sees you, in relation to the way other people see you. But you know, who am I? Like for me, who am I? I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm an athlete. I'm a guy with a nice hat. You know, Archangel of Return to Chivalry. You know, this is part of who I am. I'm a retired soldier. I was a soldier. I was in engineering. I was in a lot of things throughout life. You know, I go to school. I got degrees. I do all these things that would make me who I am. If I was to put them down on a piece of paper to highlight who I am, I'm half Indian and I'm 3/4 Native American, and I'm a quarter African American. So that's my ethnicity. I got some good mileage on me in years. So who am I then? You know, that's that part of who I am. But that's not the real who I am. I'm also a dreamer. That's the part of who I am that I kind of really like. I'm a dreamer. I look at the stars and I see, you know, I wonder, you know, why aren't there people visiting this from other solar systems? You know, I'm a firm believer that we're not alone in this whole big cosmos and stuff. I don't think God just made us. You know, we're pretty egotistical, but I don't think God just made us. If he did, he just made us. Whew, you need some more help, God, because you failed. You can just call us practice, because I don't think we're a very good representation of your goodness and kindness. So I'm not going to believe that he just made us. So that's the type of who I am that I'm talking about. Who am I for the future? You know, Even though I got some good mileage on me, I still got dreams and aspirations of the future. I still, you know, I'm somebody who still wants to be a successful entrepreneur. You know, how do I measure success? I haven't got a clue. Really don't care. I can't measure success because it's like it's always changing, so I don't worry about measuring success. You know, and then who else am I? I'm also somebody who likes to be happy, you know. Happiness is very important to me. It's something that I like. Because as long as I'm happy, I'm not stressful. And if I'm stressful, it's like, for what? I'm one of those people that don't have any need to take into consideration a whole lot of stress, especially other people's stress, unless I'm going to do something to change that situation. So I'm somebody that's going to get involved with the community and society if, and this is the big part, if the community and society that I'm going to get involved in is going to get involved. I'm somebody that, who am I? I'm also somebody that's not going to get involved just because everybody else says this is the thing to do, this is the most right thing to do, is we should all get together and do this. And then they don't do anything. So I'm not going to be involved in something like that. Not because of an excuse that my time is too precious or anything like that. It's just that I'm lazy. You know, if it's your idea and it's your passion and it's something that you really want, then you should be the one that's conducting this. You should be the leader. See, I'm not that. I'm not that. I don't want to be the leader. I never was the leader. Even in the service, I was the tactician. I wasn't the strategist. You know, my job wasn't to think up the plans and stuff. My job was here go my job. The big guys, all those officers and all those people get to the top tent. That's our tactical operational center. We all go in there, and us lowly sergeants, we in the back just hanging out. Because all the officers got to sit down because they like sitting a lot. And then they all talk about how we're going to do this. This is the strategy. We're going to go over there and we're going to catch that enemy while they're sleeping, and we're going to capture all the information we can get. We're going to get all the papers, and we're going to come back, and this is going to be what we're going to use to take and have a forward engagement on a bigger scale, and then the war will be over, and today's Tuesday, and this is all going to take place by Friday, so don't worry about it. You know? So that's the opposite. That's their strategy. That's what they're going to do. You know? Me, who am I? I'm the sergeant. I'm the tactician. I'm the guy who says, wow, that's a really good plan you got there. But, sir, look at here. Look at the size of this river. How you gonna cross that river? We don't have boats. Not that big. Oh, you know, didn't think of that, Sarge. Yeah, and look at over here. You got see those little things? Those aren't grass. Those are weeds. They're like 9 feet tall. Oh, yeah, there could be people in there. Yeah, so we better recon that area, and we better go get... So my job as a tactician was to identify all those little things that they're not looking at because they're busy already planning the outcomes of the whole war. They're ending the war on Friday because of this mission that was taking place on Tuesday. They can't have because they can't cross the river, and they can't come over the other side because of all those thick vegetation that's on that side. So, you know, so that was my job. So who am I? I'm the guy who just kind of stays in the background and likes to see things from that perspective, and that's what I'm good at. I notice those things. I'm very, very good at that there. You know, that's my skill set. And there's no glory in it, because the glory all goes to the other guys. They're the ones that sit around and pat each other on the back and have all the beers and stuff like that, and how we did this and how we captured all the enemy and how we ended the war on Friday. You know, so that's what they do. So that's who they are. And I'm the guy who just stays by the door and just kind of smiles at her and say, that's cool, that's cool. You know, and goes away. Yeah, so and then, you know, I got a question. I think everybody should ask themselves at least once a week. I mean, everybody in the whole world, I don't care what your nationality is, what your religion is, what your point of origin is, whatever it is. I think everybody in the whole world, male, female, combination of both, it doesn't matter. I think they should ask this question, you know, what is my purpose? Yeah? You already figured out who you are, say. You know, so what's my purpose in life? How am I going to use those things that I just said who I am? So, like for me, it's like, how am I going to use my skills as a tactician? Somebody who looks at things from an abstract point of view and then puts it into a scene of reality. How am I going to what's my purpose, and how am I going to use what that is, you know? So my purpose right now is obviously Archangel of Return to Chivalry. My goal is to have the whole world return to an era that was chivalrous, and not the chivalrous easy type of holding the doors and stuff like that. That's part of it, but that's the lesser part of it. The chivalry I'm talking about is the part that has to do with doing right and good. And I'll get into right and good in a little while, you know, because those are totally two different concepts, right and good. But everybody should ask themselves, what's my purpose, you know? Why am I here? What's it all about? Everybody's heard those questions. Yeah, what's the famous one? The guy who was going to be the vice president nominee for... I forget the guy's name. That was, I guess, during the Clinton era, and he said, well, who am I, or what am I here for, some craziness like that. He didn't even know what was going on. He was just having a good time with Paul Rand's father there, I think it was, or something. So that was good. But what is my purpose? Everybody has a purpose, because everybody has a dream. Everybody has an aspiration. And you know, everybody's dream's important because it's yours. And your purpose in life should be important because it's yours. It's nobody else's purpose. It's your purpose in life. It's what makes you happy, what gives you pleasure. That should be one of your primary drivers for what's your purpose, is something that makes you happy and gives you pleasure. Now, I mean, there's a lot of other things that's going to come into play with your purpose. Well, I mean, if you think shooting people makes you happy and it gives you pleasure, well, you might, but it's kind of against the law. You know what I'm saying? So you have to use restraints on some of those things that make you happy and give you purpose. I mean, that's way to the far end of some kind of left or something, but. There are other things that are closer. What's my purpose? Some people might think their purpose is to just have that pleasure and that happiness, and they get their pleasure and that happiness from drugs. You know, they might have thought, well, I don't really have a purpose in life, so right at the moment I'm just going to get high. And it's like, well, you just wasted your whole life, because once you start down that road, it's going to take over. And then your purpose becomes, oh man, I'm sick, so I got to get some more drugs so I feel better. Somebody's got to help me. Now your purpose in life is a victim. And you became a victim of your own self. But that's another story. So, what's my purpose? This is, like I said, something everybody should ask themselves. What's my purpose? Hopefully that you're really honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, I think that you will believe that you have a higher calling in life than what you give yourself credit for. Yeah, I think everybody aspires to be the best that they can be. And in aspiring to be the best that you can be, then you have to take the initiative. And you have to take the drive to be the best that you can be. So, like I say, who am I, man? I'm the best I can be. What's my purpose? My purpose is to be the best that I can be. In what? I don't know yet. But whatever it is, my purpose is to be the best at it. And that's how it should be. Because you name what that one thing, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things are going to be, and you can change them too. Don't think you're locked into being something. You might say, I'm going to be a judge, and I'm going to be the best judge because I think that the society we live in right now, they're not fair to people of color. They're not fair to poor people. They're not fair to people who live in Appalachia. So I'm going to become a judge, and I'm going to be on their side. I'm going to represent these people. I'm going to be fair for these people, and that's what I'm going to do. And that, that's what somebody says is their purpose in life. So when they ask themselves, what's my purpose? My purpose is to be the judicial representative and the judicial arm for the people that don't have one, the voice in the justice system, the one that's going to help these people. That's my purpose. So who am I? I'm a knight errant for the justice system. I'm Don Quixote. I'm going out there and I'm going to save all the people that's going to get waylaid by a very upsetting society that lives today. So that's who I am. I'm Don Quixote, but I'm a real Don Quixote. I'm not a phony Don Quixote. Or I guess everybody's a real Don Quixote. But that's powerful. That's who you are. That's what you want to be, and that's a lofty goal to aspire to. Now, what happens while you're trying to reach that goal? While you're trying to reach that goal, you look at things from a different perspective because you're looking at this thing from this one thing. This is what I'm going to do. I'm helping these people like this. But now you got to learn the legal system. So as you start to learn the legal system, you start to see things from this legal perspective. Well, I can't do that. Okay, but I can do this, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I can do this to help them, but I can't do that. But then you also got to look at it from society's way, from the eyes of a social worker, because you have to know just where you can help these people. Because someone might come into your court and they've been brought in there for a traffic violation, and you're going to help them, because they've been brought in for a traffic violation. So you'll say, well, let me see, why did he was drunk driving with no license, and that's against I can't, what can you do? So you have to look at it like that, if you find yourself stuttering and stuff like that, then you know that there's something that you have to do, because the law comes first if you're going to be in a situation like that. So now you have to look at yourself up again. Who am I? You're the judge. And then, what's my purpose? My purpose is to help these people. But my purpose has been changed now because I am the judge, I have to abide by the laws. I have to help these people in the law. So what can I do? You can say to the person, who was drunk driving and stuff, I'm going to give you a suspended sentence, but you're going to have to do this here. This way you're going to help them. You're going to give them something to strive for. You're going to give them something to do. If you just put that little mallet down and say, not guilty, you did nothing. You set him out there with nothing. He feels as though now he got away with beating the law down and stuff. But so you're the judge, and you tell the person, all right, I'm you get a little slap on the wrist for that, but here, you have to go to this. You have to go to AA meetings or something like that. You have to go to some kind of anger management or something. Something. You have to do something, and you got to report back to my courtroom at this and such a date like this here. And you got to stay out of trouble. See, now you're giving that helping hand. So you're fulfilling your purpose, and you're also fulfilling who am I, because your who am I has changed. You've grown. You no longer was just that person with the ideology that I'm just going to go out there and help these people because they need the help. Now you become that person. I'm going to go out there and help these people, but I have to do it within these parameters because that's the law. But I'm helping these people so I can find the ways that within these set parameters where I can best help these people. And that's powerful. You know? That's powerful. And then that comes to something here that I was going to talk about a little bit here. Right and good. Yeah? So, you know, right and good. Everybody always hears that, especially when they're thinking about Archangel of Return to Chivalry. Both those concepts come in there. Right and good. So, who am I when it comes to doing right? You know? And what is right? And who am I when it comes to good? And what is good? Both of these things by themselves are totally two different things, and they can't come together. Because here goes what right is. Right. The right is defined as that which maximizes the good. Right? That's right. So now what does that mean? Maximizes the good. That's what right is. Right is something that maximizes the good. So hold that thought, because that's powerful. Now we'll go to good. The good. It is defined independently from the right. What is right produces the most good. Okay? So good in itself is independent of right. So if something's good, doesn't mean it's right. This is good. That's good water right there. Don't mean it's right. It means it's good. It's subjective, you know? But if I put right, which is something that maximizes the good, for me, because who I am, this water is right. And this water is good. So for me, this water is the ultimate good because it's been maximized by the right for me. So you see where I'm going? Alright, so this is how you think about right and good. So you say you're the judge, right? You're the judge that we painted in that little picture like this here. So now he's got to do the right, but he wants to do the best good for the people. That's where that story comes in like that, you know. It's good for him to want to help the people in those lower social economical status that come through his court. That's what he wants to do. That's his purpose. You know, he wants to help those people. All right? So that's good. Now the right to help those people. How is it right to help those people? Is it right for him to help those people by just giving them a slap on the wrist and then sending them off, hoping that they don't come back again? Nah, because that's not maximizing the good. He didn't do any good for anybody. He just did what he felt or what they might have felt was a right. But it wasn't a right because it didn't maximize the good. You see? So that's what Archangel is kind of like. So, but to give a suspended sentence, you know, that's a right thing to do. And telling the person that he has to go to some kind of counseling, some kind of AA meeting or something like that, that's again a right thing to do. So he's helping this person, which is good. So he's maximizing the good. So the right for him to do is just that. Give a suspended sentence to that person on the stipulations that they go to AA and that they go get some kind of counseling or something like that. And then they have to report back to him with saying what they have done. Now see, that's good. He's helping, so that's good. Now just if he didn't do that, if he didn't bring in the right, which was like that, if he just did good, he could just do good, you know, by that person and say, okay, you know, we're going to not do anything this time, but I don't want you to do that again, and put the bad mouth on them, just on up in their face and stuff like that. He could do that too, but that's good. that would be good for that person who broke the law, because they didn't get any penalty. They got the bad mouth put on them. They probably got used to the bad mouth. So that was good. There was no right. And like I said, what is good? It is defined independent from the right. So his good didn't have any right to it. So it's really wouldn't produce anything that was good, because it really didn't have any right. As we know, the right is defined as that which maximizes the good. So just letting them go, it's not good, even though you would think the perpetrator would think that was good, because he got to beat the system.
Troop, I have a question.
Yeah, Will's back.
Yes.
Will.
Hey, Troop.
I can get some water.
All right, good. My question is so
good water.
The guy in New York, I don't know, we talked about this a little bit on the Voiceless that airs every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 91.3 FM, WCUW. I was, the guy that ran over that woman was let go 31 times.
31, yeah.
31 times he was released. Now this goes back to Bill Clinton, that a lot of black people, a lot of people in general, criticized Bill Clinton for the 3 strikes you're out rule. Do you think there should be a 3 strikes you're out rule? Or something like that?
I think there should be a 3 strikes you're out rule, and I think people should be held to you should be held to the responsibilities of the society that you live in. You know? And by that, 3 strikes you're out. You want to live in a civil society where you have laws and you have protections and stuff like that, then you have to be accountable. It doesn't mean that you just reap the rewards of the protection part. You have to be accountable for your actions. So 3 strikes you're out. Now I totally agree with that. But I also agree with like what I said. If you're just giving out some kind of penalty that doesn't have any kind of attachment to it to try to bring you into a different position in life, then I don't think that's good. I think that the justice system is doing you a disservice. You know what I'm saying? Because that guy was 31 times.
31 times.
Yeah, 30. It's like, come on, when are you going to stop?
Wait, I'm sorry. I apologize, Troop, but that was wrong. He was arrested 31 times, so he wasn't like charged and let go. We don't know what happened in the 31 cases, but I'm sure some of them he was found guilty.
Yeah, probably was, but he wasn't given enough sentencing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, just to be good, he was found guilty, and then like you gave him the good. He thought it was good. There wasn't no right to it. He wasn't given anything that was right. He was given something that was good. In his case, his right should have been jail. As far as I could see, he should have been locked up. He should have been taken off the street. Not just for the public safety, but for his own well-being and his own state of mind. He had no who am I. You know? He couldn't identify who he was. I bet if you asked him, who are you, he wouldn't know. It's like, I don't know. He would go through all those exterior points, you know. Well, I'm a black man, or I'm a white man, or I'm a man, and I'm this age, and I have this amount of education, and I have this, and all these things that are outside the person. But he wouldn't know within his heart and within his thing who he was. He might even say, well, I'm a Christian, or some other kind of religious affiliation. He might have that, but he's, like I said, still he wouldn't be able to say what's in his heart and what's in his mind, because he doesn't know. He doesn't have purpose. Seems like his purpose is getting arrested. he's a criminal, and that's a shame, because you don't want to be a criminal. It's like, what's up with being a criminal? And see, and now we'll get to the next part. How do I know and accept who I am? Now that's the biggest part right there. Like I said, we'll stay with that judge for a while. That guy who wants to be the judge. Now that's what he wants. His purpose is to be the judge, and he wants to be able to be a judge so that he can do good in helping people in the lower social and economic strata, because they're not being fairly represented when they come before the justice system. So he knows what his purpose is. He knows what his purpose is. And he knows who he is because he knows what he wants to do. And he knows what he wants to do because he knows what his purpose is. And then to accept who he is. This is the hardest part about that whole thing, because as he develops and grows to become who he wants, who I am, you know, his who I am is going to be changed, just like everybody else's who I am is going to change. Because we make choices every day. Every day of our lives we make choices. And every time we make a choice, the choice has a changing effect on us. Mm-hmm. And in this guy, in his case, as he develops to become a judge, he changes. He's going to have to become a court lawyer for a little while to become an effective judge, to, like I said, to be able to help those people. He's going to have to be having some economic skills so that he knows what the climate of the society's like, and he's going to have some sociology, maybe some anthropology. Who knows what else is going to have to be engaged within that, so that he can become who he is in his mind. Because all that who I am at first is just a broad blank statement. It's who I am. You got the caption up top, and you get a whole lot of space to fill in and develop in who you are, and then you got your purpose down the bottom. So you see, so how do I know and accept who I am? Courage. Total courage. That's the only way that you can achieve that goal, is through courage. You know, you have to know that it's not going to be easy. You have to know it's going to take time. You have to know it's going to hurt sometimes. You have to know that there's going to be some failures. And it takes courage to look failure in the face. You know, which is kind of ridiculous, because it's only the, you know, especially when it comes to academics. You know, people, we're so programmed to believe that you're supposed to pass every test you take, or there's something wrong with you. You know, it's like, well, you're supposed to pass that test. Why? Because we're in a system that has a regurgitated educational system. So I taught you, so I gave the test, so therefore you have to pass the test.
True, I agree with that. I do agree with that, and I think it goes even further, because your word, whether it's true or not, 9 times out of 10 won't be accepted unless you have a stature. So, for example, someone from the city council, they said they were asked why didn't they sign with the rest of the city councilors for a letter to Donald Trump, and he said, oh, the reason why I didn't sign it is because I thought it was being done by someone who's not on the council, by just a regular citizen. And I said, but they work for the citizens. So what does it matter? What does the citizen have to be a city council member for you to listen to them? But it's like a lot of things are like that. The first thing they do when you tell them something is, who do you work for, or what do you do, or what school you go to?
Exactly. And following this, that's the second part. You know, what is their purpose? They know what their purpose is. Their purpose isn't the service of the good for the people, because they used an excuse that it was a person who did this, and how dare that person do this? That's you know, I'm the city councilor, and so who they are is something that they're projecting an image of being something that they're not. We're not there yet, you know. Their purpose as a city council is to represent the constituency that voted, not just voted them in, but even if they didn't vote for them. The whole city council has one objective, is the maintenance and the happiness and the pleasures of the city of Worcester. Very difficult, very hard to do, because you have a whole bunch of different happiness levels and things that make you happy all over the place and stuff. But still, they have to be able to look at the city and do what's best for the city. And an excuse like, what is that? Because they didn't know?
Yeah, they didn't know who put forth. So a citizen just put forth the letter and presented it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the city council and Joe Glover, Mayor Glover, he said, not Mayor Glover, Mayor Petty.
I ain't running
I'm sorry,
for mayor.
you're the mayor in this place, establishment troop. I'm sorry,
I know,
Mayor Petty. They all said this is a good idea. Let's sign on to it. Well, he was one of the 7 that did not. And then when asked for a comment by the media, he said, "I thought this was coming from someone from a citizen, not coming from the actual city council."
Yeah, and how wrong are you? You the mayor, and you don't even know what the people who are under you are doing. Something that comes before the city council shouldn't just come before the city council in this form. You know, this is nice. Look at that penmanship and stuff. That's nice. No. It should be drafted up. It should have steps to it. It should have objectives to it. It should have some kind of outcomes to it. It should be coming to them so that they can discuss it and talk about it, and then put their names on it and stuff. That's ridiculous. They didn't do any work. That's all they're telling me. You didn't do any work. You thought this just came from a citizen. Well, how many other things did you do because you didn't feel like it? You know, and that's basically what I'm hearing. You didn't feel like it, so you didn't research what this was about. And you're supposed to be representing the welfare of the people. They're not representing the heart of the people. But I don't want to just talk about them right now. So I want to know, I'm just still talking about how do I know and accept who I am. They don't know who they are. Right after this quick, right? They don't know who they are, right? The mayor, I'll go to the mayor. The mayor didn't know who he is. You're the mayor. You're the casting vote on the city council. So you have to know every piece of legislation that comes before the city council. You're the mayor. You also have to know every kind of issue that's affected, that's going to come in the state, because you're the mayor of a part of the state. And you got to know every piece, not every piece, but the big, at least money moving things that come into the nation in the federal level. But you have to know the state level and the local level. So what is his purpose? He don't know his purpose. You know, that's something he doesn't know his purpose, because what is the good? The good, I don't know what the good would be, what he considered the good for what he did. He might have in his mind thought that he was considering the good, so he wasn't putting his name on it. But was it right? It didn't maximize the good, because it didn't know it wasn't right. It didn't have anything that was going to make the good a maximum good. It was only going to be a good for one person, and that would be the mayor. So that he didn't have to do anything, or the people on the city council that didn't do anything like that. So in choosing your purpose, you know, choose any purpose you want in life, but realize that you have to know who you are. And just because you say it's good, make sure that you're doing it right, because the only way a good can become a real, true, honest feeling good if it's maximized by a right. Well, I got to pay bills. Because you got to pay the bills, so we're going to have little commercials coming on right now and everything. Then we're going to come back and do a little bit more on this. Then I'm going to go into a little bit of fitness, because I promised everybody that they can be physically fit. Alright, here we go. And we're back, folks. And yes, it's time for us to come back and talk a little bit about who am I. And I'm going to bring up a little story from the book. That's right. This book right here.
Aesop's Fable.
This is the book right here. Y'all need to get a copy of this book. Don't be shamefaced when you're walking into the children's section of the bookstore. Get this book. It's a good book. I'm gonna read one here about the ant. Alright? The ant. Yeah. Ants were once men. I didn't even know that. And made their living by tilling the soil. But not content with the results of their own work, they were always casting longing eyes upon the crops and the fruits of their neighbors, which they stole. whenever they got a chance and added to their own store. At last, their convertedness, their covetousness, that's a big word, made Jupiter so angry that he changed them into ants. But though their forms were changed, their nature remained the same. And so to this day they go about among the cornfields and gather the fruits of others' labor and store them up for their own use. So here's the famous thing right here. You may punish a thief, but his bent remains. Yeah? So that's it. And that got to do with who I am. You know? These guys, they were people at first. Right? But they thought it was good. Their purpose was they were tillers of the soil. They was farmers and all agriculture. They thought their purpose was to have the best foods for themselves. That was good for them. That's what they wanted. That was good. So, but the way they went about it, who were they? They thought they were somebody that could just go over and take somebody else's products, somebody else's livelihood for themselves. So that's what they did. So that was their purpose in life. But then they got caught, by Jupiter. This here, because that's Aesop's fable, so Jupiter is like Zeus, except I think he's Latin instead of Roman, or Greek. He's Latin instead of Greek. So, so they got caught, and Zeus changed them into ants. And here's the thing, their purpose remained the same. Their purpose never changed. Their purpose was still to be farmers and agriculturists and stuff. And they never changed from what they did. They still believed it was good to go over there and take what they wanted and stuff, even though they were no longer men. The consequences, because they didn't have the good and the right in the same perspective, it wasn't joined together. That's how these men ended up being ants. Because the right didn't maximize the good. The right, the good was only for themselves. So the happiness that could only be given would be for them while they were stealing the products from somebody else. So that somebody else was receiving disharmony. They weren't being happy. They weren't having any pleasures. They were getting to be hungry and stuff because these guys over here, they were thieving. So so the right couldn't maximize the good, because the good has to be maximized, and that means it's going to encompass everybody. And definitely it wasn't encompassed in the people that was stolen from. So as they were churned into ants, they never lost their thing. They were still thieves. And they were punished. They weren't men anymore. Now they were ants, but they were still thieves, and they still went about doing the things that they do. They still would steal or find whatever it is, or steal whatever it is from wherever they can get it, to because that was good for them. So I thought that was a little fable. Y'all can read about it yourselves. Get the book. So it's on page 203. So y'all get the book, and you can read about Aesop's fable. I thought that was a good one for kind of bringing this to a closure and stuff. And I got one more thing to say about this. How do I control and understand my emotions to be able to become all I can? This, folks, must be the hardest part of all this stuff that we were talking about, is your emotions right here. Even with the ants, their emotionally, they may not have felt, even when they were men, that they were doing something that wasn't right, because it was good for them. And that's an emotional feeling, because it's going to be something that's going to manifest itself by increasing your happiness, increasing your pleasures, because that's what good does. But good just for good's sake, for happiness and pleasure's sake, it has very little worth to it, because it's selfish. So how do you go about to become all I can? That, you go all the way back to the top. Who am I? And once you figure out who you are and decide on who you are, and then you want to be that, how do you bring your emotions under control so that your purpose becomes something that's going to be purposeful, that's going to have a ways to go, it's going to have order to it, it's going to have direction to it, and when the changes start to come, you're going to be able to have the courage to take on those changes that are going to come as you progress in towards your purposeful end. Because you're going to grow. It doesn't make any difference on what you choose for your purpose to be. You're going to grow, because that's inevitable. Even if you wanted to be the best stealer of somebody's fruit, I was pretty good at that, folks. Let me tell you. Because we used to go out when I was a kid down on the railroad tracks, and off to the side they used to have these people had their little grapevines and so yeah, the apple trees and stuff. I get big bags of fruit to take. I was good at it, I learned how to come around and go. Which worked fine for me when I got older. I became recalled. My job in the service outside of the tactical there was in long-range reconnaissance. That was my job. I was good at it. Just like stealing grapes, stealing apples, sneaking in somebody's backyard. It was pretty much easy for me. But that's kind of comical. But the purpose, like I said, you develop and you grow. You develop and you grow, and you develop and you grow, and you change as you develop and you grow. Because every day change is there, and every day you have to. You don't have any choice in this matter. You have to address the change. If you want to reach your purposeful goal, and if you want to become who you are and find out who am I. You have to do that. Your emotions, that's where the emotional hard part comes in, it is in those changes. If you don't want to take on the changes, you might say, I ain't going to change. Nothing's going to change me. Fine. What do? Well, I walk from this corner to that corner, and then I walk back again. But sometimes I stop in the middle, and I talk to somebody, and we smoke a bone and have a beer or something like that, and I go back. That's what I do. You ain't going to change. You're happy. Your life is full of pleasure and happiness. Don't let the street change. If they get rid of that corner, then you won't know what to do. But that's okay. You don't have to do it. And folks, it sounds silly, but I will guarantee you there are huge amount of people that do exactly what I just said. They walk from one corner to another, and then they walk back again. Usually in some cities they might be doing what they used to call the barroom circuit. A lot of men will go to 3 or 4 or 5 different barrooms throughout the course of the day, every day. There were a lot of ladies that used to go every day from their house to the store and back again. That's what they did every day. So it sounds like it's a comical thing, but that was it. And that was their purpose in life. They became excellent at it. They were experts at going from that point A to that point B and back to A. They became so good at it, if you put C in the middle, they wouldn't know what to do. They get lost. They became so good at doing those things like that. Well, I hope we had a little fun with that, because now I'm going to talk a little bit about physical fitness, where I got a little bit of things that I say, because I like to put a little bit of physical fitness into these sessions like this, because the weather's changing, folks. Fitness is coming, and everybody's going to want to get out there and enjoy as much of the spring, summer, and have the fall that they can, you know. It's because that's what we're made for. That's happiness and pleasure for everybody. It doesn't matter. Some people want to go out there and run in and jumping in and swing from trees and go, oh, you know, they can do that. Some people just want to walk to the park bench and then snip the sun and everything, but they have to get to the park bench. So we're going to put a little fitness in here. So there's 3 points here that I'm going to talk about fitness. 1, stay engaged with your training plan. 2, variety is a spice of life. You know, mix it up sometimes. Not your training plan, but mix up your exercise plan. And fix the little things. So stay engaged with your training plan. So if you're, like I said, I've mentioned this before, if you're training, if you want to go out there and you want to get in shape so that you can walk around Elm Park, say, in Worcester you got this park, Elm Park, it's about an eighth of a mile, I guess, or something like that, but you want to walk around Elm Park. So you want to train to walk around Elm Park. That's what you want to do. You don't need to train to pick up 500 pounds. You need to train to walk a mile. You know, and to walk that mile, you have to train. So you start by walking 100 yards and take a break. And then 200 yards. And then, you know, oh shoot, how am I going to get back? Come on back that way. Now you've walked 400 yards. You know, or you can just walk 100 yards, come back, now you've walked 200 yards. Don't go to 200 yards and then say, oh, man, I got 600 yards to go. You know?
Can I say something real quick? I know we're running late on time, so I apologize. But
that's all right.
One thing that you said last week that stuck with me, and that's also a good idea too. When you're walking this, you don't have to walk it all at once. Just like you said last week about doing the stairs, you can walk to half the stairs and then just sit down. The stairs. Where are you going to sit down? On the stairs. And then you can wait a couple minutes, and then once you get your bearings, keep going.
Exactly. That's how it is. But you stay engaged with your training. That's what the thing is. You're engaged. You stay it. You say, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, taking off Thursday. Then I do it Saturday and Sunday. You know, that's it. You stay engaged. How you do it is the second part. You know, but you're engaged. And the second part is the variety. You know, you're going to walk around Elm Park. Walk right and go this way. You might want to walk left. And I tell you what, folks, it'll look a whole lot different if you're walking towards your left-hand side than it is if you're walking towards your right-hand side. So you're mixing it up like that. You might want to skip. You might, you know, you might want to walk like and sit down and rest, and then get up and then say, why don't I just drop down on these stairs and do a couple push-ups while I'm right here, and then get up and then do, because you're starting to mix up the variety and everything, because that's the spice of life. But you're engaged in your training to walk around that Elm Park. That's where you stay focused on. All those other things, they're just things that's going to help your training stay lively and motivating. That's all it is, you know. And time. Don't put time in it. Don't put time in it when you're training. Unless you're an athlete, unless you really are training. If you're training to run under a 3-hour marathon for Boston, then you put time in it. But this is a whole different type of training than what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about the person was out of shape because they didn't come out in the winter. You know, now they think the summer's coming and the spring is here, so they're going to get in shape. And these will help you so that you don't fall off. You know, you don't give it 1 week and say, forget it. You know, I ain't doing that. So these will help you so you do that. But if you're training for a 3-hour marathon, train for a 3-hour marathon. You know, speed work, pickup, long runs, all kinds of stuff, sweat, puking in the side of the road and stuff. It's all there. It's all part of training. If you're training for that, the thing. If you're not, don't do that. And then that brings me to fix the little things. So don't let the little things go when you start training. You know, to go around Elm Park. if you got on a pair of broke down sneakers that you done had when you was a kid because you think that they're going to motivate you, so you get your old Chuck Taylors out and they got holes in the sides and the bottoms and stuff like that, hang them on your bathroom door. Don't put them on your feet to go outside. They're going to give you blisters. They're going to tear your feet up. They're going to hurt your knees. Don't do that. You know, so you fix the little thing. Get yourself a comfortable pair of sneakers that you want to use to go out in. Right? So you say, well, I can't go out there looking like this. People will put on an oversized sweatshirt. Nobody has to know what you look. And don't worry about what people are looking at you about. They'll be seeing you in not in the way that you'll be seeing you. They'll be seeing you who has somebody who, and I guarantee this, somebody who has the courage to take on the challenge to get physically fit. So they'll be seeing you as something that they want to emulate. They won't be seeing you as something that they want to just talk about and make fun of. So don't worry about what your appearance is while you're going out there. You know, just go out there and stay true to your training. You know, and that's a little other, you know. And then if you find out that you're walking and because you're out of shape, so we'll be honest, so your thighs are flapping all together and everything, and you're starting to get a chafing on the inner part of your thighs and stuff. Buy yourself some good spandex to put on. You know, you can put shorts over the top, you can put pants over the top, but you put that good spandex on, your thighs ain't flapping together all over the place like that, so you're taking care of a chafing, so you're not having that type of pain and stuff. You know, and there's other things that you just identify that's happening to you. Your body, you know exactly where the pain's going to come, what's going to feel different. And then as you start to lose weight, and you start to gain speed and do things like that, this is when you want to assess yourself. So say you're going around Elm Park now, and you're going around good. You know, you made it. You do Elm Park 2 times. Next thing you say, I want to run around Elm Park 5 times. You know, so now you're running around Elm Park 5 times. So the next thing you know, you say, I want to run a race. The first thing you want to do is fix the little things again. Now your whole training aspect's going to change. So your whole way of training, your whole way of being is going to change. And because the third one becomes the most important thing for you, first is to fix the little things, you need to go find out what sneakers you want to wear. You know, that's number one. You want to make sure that you assess all the pains that you're feeling. If you feel a pain in your lower back or something like that because you're running too fast, change your sneakers. They're not good for that amount of speed. And one, straighten up, change your gait, change something, work on those things like that. You fix those small things like that so you're able to achieve that goal you want. Just because you can go around the park 5 or 6 times doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do the race. You know, the races might be a little bit longer, but the energy and just the way that the races are, you just get sucked into the race. You know, you're going to actually come away hurting yourself. So if you fix the little things, and then you use variety, you change it up. To do a race, you need some upper body strength, you need to work on your lower back, you need to have some kind of thing to work on. Everybody says I accumulate all this stress in my neck. Well, it's not stress, folks. It's not stress that most people are feeling. There's a muscle, and it begins with a P, and I can't remember the name of it, and you're doing this with your head. You're nodding like this here. You know, or you duck billing like this when you're running like this here. So you contracted and relaxed all those muscles and they tightened up. So you want to get those muscles strong and firm so that type of thing doesn't come into play. So then you can run with your head down if you want to, it doesn't matter. Or you can run with your head up. But you'd have to run from one position, Because that constant moving back and forth is just a contraction and a relaxation.
True.
Of the
Is it
muscle.
called the trapezius muscle?
No, it begins with a P.
Hmm.
Yeah. I ain't done anatomy and physiology since since Texas. Wait, first Texas, not the second Texas. Yeah, so but the traps go there too. It could be associated with the traps, yeah. You know, they all come off that. I ain't going into anatomy. So that was a little bit on the fitness. So folks, you're going to be out there in about a week and a half anyways. You know you are. You're getting ready now. So plan on getting ready. Get yourself some good sneakers. Don't go out there with them old Chuck Taylors with the holes in them because you're going to get blisters. It's going to hurt. It's going to be ugly. You know, so get some good sneakers. Put on the spandex first. Don't even wait for the chafing to begin, you know. Put those things on. Get on out there.
Posterior
You know,
scaling.
it's this muscle that comes down here. See that on the sides?
Okay.
Yeah. Which one's that? And then stay engaged, right? Stay engaged. You stay engaged, just like we did for Who Am I? You stay engaged. Your purpose. This is what you want to do, and you can do it any way you want to. That's the beauty of it all. Your training is your training. Your training isn't somebody else's training. Your training is your training. So if you're wanting to run this and you feel like, man, I'm beat, sit down. You know, yeah, you know, I can't make it all the way around. Well, don't go all the way around. Go that way and come on back. It's all right. It's all right. It's your training. And then use some variety to it and stuff. Skip, hop, run, jump, do some push-ups off a tree, lean on a tree and catch your breath. Whatever it's going to take for you to stay the course with that training. Alright, I went a little bit over. Not too bad, not too bad. I hope everybody had a good time, and I hope that everybody finds a purpose that they really want to do and find out who they are. You know, I always looking at who I am, and it always changes. And that's the beauty of life, because I don't know who I am. I know who I am, but I accept who I am, and I accept that I'm going to change all the time. And if anybody, all the people out there who are aspiring to be archangels, and remember the two concepts right there, good and right. That right maximizes good. Good by itself is just a subjective thing. That's what it is. It could be good, and it's only good for you, because it can't be good for everybody, because it's not being maximized by what is right. Well, I'm Trooper Joe, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I had a good time. I hope everybody else had a good time. And I'm anxious to get outside myself. I've been having my new pair of sneakers to run for 8 months. I prepared early, but you know, get on out there. Well, we got a week before everybody be out there, and hopefully we can stay together and talk about this stuff on the radio, and then on Facebook Live, and then we can reach our goals in that physical fitness thing and our purpose in life, and everybody find out who they want to be. All right, I'm Trooper Joe, and I gotta go. So y'all have that fun, and I'm gone.